It is Crystal with Pineapple Papers, and I have a design team project for Color Rush Studio using the August kits, the Everyday Joy kits, and I'm starting with this super fun, kind of crazy, multi-shape, multi-color pattern. And my plan is to make kind of a starburst. I think that's kind of the best way to describe it. Basically, I want a starburst coming out of the top of the photos and the bottom of the photos at an angle with the photos in the middle. It will make more sense. But I did leave this in because it actually worked. So in the upper left-hand corner, I marked 3 inches from the corner on the top and on the side. And then on the bottom right-hand corner, I did the same, 3 inches on the bottom and on the side. Then I found the very center of the layout of the paper, and I drew a line from the center to those 3-inch marks. And then I will go off screen and I will just hand cut those. And it totally worked out how I wanted it to. Now, this does use a good portion of your paper. So there's probably an easier way to do this, but this was just how my brain worked, and I'm happy with how it turned out. So you can kind of see there, that's kind of the beginning of that starburst. Now, because I am using white cardstock from my stash as a base, I felt like it needed a little something extra. So I pulled out this small stencil. I don't even know where it's from. And I'm using some Distress ink in Faded Jeans. And I'm just going to kind of do it basically in the center-ish of the layout. So I'm kind of putting my starburst piece back on to kind of see how I want it to go. I don't really want harsh edges, even though when all is said and done, it does look a little more boxy than I had kind of hoped, but I did kind of want to round it. I think one side looks a little bit better than the other, and that's totally fine. So I'm going to do that on the top and the bottom, and I just use the little Tim Holtz, daubers maybe is what they're called. I like them because most of my inks are the minis, and the little pads fit right underneath them. I do have some bigger ones, but for the most part, I don't do a ton of mixed media, so I do like the little ones, and they travel well too. So, but they're just the Distress ink. They're not the oxide. So, I've got my mixed media down, and I went ahead and put my starburst down. I have 2 pictures of my kids on the subway in Boston. One, my son is laughing, and one, my daughter is looking annoyed, which is kind of funny. So I'm actually using the other side of that busy paper, which is kind of like a brown. So it's got a nice neutral. And I know it's hard to tell, but in the back of the subway seats, it's kind of like wild 1980s fabric color kind of situation. So I was thinking that maybe I wanted to double map my photos. I ultimately decided not to do that. So for the sides of my starburst, I decided to go with some Frazzle. So you can see it kind of follows that line. And I put my photos in the center. They're kind of layered on top of each other, a little askew, a little wonky. And now I'm going to take quite a bit of time actually and play. So this is the second layout that I have made, but there still is so many embellishments that come with this kit. So I am going to pull out anything that I possibly think that I can use, kind of place it maybe where I think it might go, and then I will go ahead and just kind of make a pile of things that I know for sure I'm not going to use, or put it back in the spot. So at this point, it's looking like my title is going to be Good Times. That's not going to be what it's going to be, which is fine. And that's because I pulled out this acrylic word that says about. And I was like, oh, I want to do out and about for my title using the acrylic piece about, as well as the alphas that came in the kit. And at first I was going to use kind of that mintier color, but it didn't have an ampersand, just the green did. So I'm going to end up going with the green. I could have done out in the lighter one and then still just use the ampersand. That would have worked as well. So I decided to put it on one of the pieces that the acrylic came in, one of the packaging pieces, and I could have used wax paper, but I would have had to leave my desk, and I was like on a roll and I didn't want to leave my desk. So here I am kind of like trying to figure out where things are going to go. Things move around a lot. The little thing that says, it's a banner, it says in my, and then it has blank era, and I'm going to add Subway to that. So that gets moved from the bottom to the top to the bottom. There's also a label, it says core memories. That also gets moved around a lot. I started with the kind of puffy stars, and I am going to end up doing hearts instead. I'm going to have 2 of those. And then I have a little house. I don't know. I just liked it, so it's going to go there. I pull a couple of the circular chipboard flare pieces. I'm looking at potentially, oh, I already did it. Okay, I went off camera. Everything is where it is. I've got at the top the circle arrow with a heart and a tab that says currently. So my whole title says currently out, and then at the bottom it says and about, and then it's got the in my Subway era, core memories, and I did add a couple of the wood pieces as well. You can see the leaf there, and then I have a heart. So that's going to do it for this layout. I will have Color Rush Studio linked down below, so you can get your hands on these kits, and remember to wear your crown. Bye.